Session that's coming in next is a Q that will also involve a Q&A session. It's going to be themed around harnessing the youth voice for effective participation in governance law policy-making processes in Kenya. Now, I want to take this opportune moment to just bring in the panel members who are going to sit in this particular panel session. I want to start with the Honorable Gideon Keter, the Member of Parliament, who is the nominated Member of Parliament representing the youth. Mheshimiwa, please come on stage. Let's encourage him up as we get to come. Also joining Mheshimiwa Gideon Keter on this particular panel session is going to be Mr. Roy Sakatelewa, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the National Youth Council. Mr. Roy, please come up on stage. And also joining the team that's going to be part of this particular panel is Ms. Caroline Chege, who is an alumni of the RLC. She is a social change champion. And if you're watching the Madam President show in KTN, probably she's a face that probably you could be familiar with. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Caroline Chege, let's applaud her to get out. And also joining this particular panel discussion is going to be Ms. Jennifer Gitu. Jennifer Gitu, I believe she is a part of the University of Nairobi, Students Association. And I believe she was seconded up by their current chair. So please, some round of applause as we bring in Ms. Jennifer Gitu on stage. And last but not least, I want to introduce the panel moderators who are going to lead this particular wonderful session. All probably alumni of the RLC, that's the Regional Leadership Center of East Africa, Yali. Ladies and gentlemen, let me start up by bringing in Marion Karanja. Marion Karanja is a digital communications consultant. So as she comes in, let's not get started clapping after them. Marion is going to be part of the team leading this. And just to pair up Marion, we're going to be having Mr. Philbert Aganyo. Mr. Philbert Aganyo is also a full-time communications consultant dealing with documentations and projects, and they're going to be the brilliant persons who are going to lead this stage. So, Philbert and Marion, all the best and Archive.
Thank you so much, Kevin and Ruben. I want to coin a greeting, okay? Summit 2019, give me the response of Leading for Impact. Let's go. Summit 2019. Leading for Impact. Come on, we can do better. Summit 2019. Leading for Impact indeed. Marion, can you tell us something?
I want to bring up two people who joined us to join our panel. We have Mr. Buluma and Miss Lydia. Please join us.
As they join us. Just a correction, I am a consultant in tech. I'm a lady in STEM, so science, technology, engineering, and maths. I'm very passionate about it. An engineer by profession, but life has taught me that you can be anything you want to be. So for all the young people here, I'm in the private sector, and I was complaining to Charles there. Everyone who's spoken, everyone in the panel here is in government. Private sector is also very good, and it's where the change is happening because we have to create employment and we have to do so much. So I would like to welcome our panel today. Phil, do you have anything? Are they ready?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. We want to look at, first of all, let me welcome you all to this discussion. And of course, at the end of this panel discussion, we're going to open it up for a question and answer session. So if there is any item that you've wanted to voice to our legislators or to the people in whose charge your welfare has been put, kindly jot it down, put it down nicely, a very precise and clear question, and maybe as we go along you will get to know them a little bit better, so you're able to maybe direct your question to a particular panelist. We want to encourage you to be a participative audience for that. Let me welcome my co-moderator, to start us off into this discussion. Maybe a little bit of a background. We want to build a case of why we are here before we go deeper. Mario.
Thank you very much, Philbert. So just as a background, 65% of the African population is made up. Can you all hear me? Or is there a problem with this? We can hear you. You can hear me? Perfect. So 65% of the African population is made up by the youth. I'm talking about people under the age of 35 years. And coming closer home, we have 40% between the age of 15 to 35. So when we look at these statistics, we feel like we need to embrace the youth's voice in everything that is being done. So looking at an article, actually a journal by the National Council of Population Development, they talked about the median age of the Kenyan population being 19 years. And therefore, our voices, I am a youth, so my voice needs to be heard. So yeah, this is much better. So I, as a youth, being younger, that is below 35 years, below 30 years, our voices need to be heard. And Philbert and I came up with something that is called the 3 R's, whereby our voices are being heard through 3 things. The first R is representation. The second R is recognition. When you talk of representation, just to go back a little bit, is we have Gideon in the Honorable Gideon, forgive me for that, in the National Assembly. We have Senator Sakaja in the Senate, having people represent us and having our voices heard. We have recognition, where we feel the youth need to be part of the appointment and many seats that are coming in here. And I think, Philbert, you have something for us on that. And finally, we have remuneration, pay interns, as in, that's it. So, Philbert?
A few pointers. This is just to jog your memories, our panelists, so that you get to understand some of the questions that we might be asking for. And by the way, gloves off. There's something we call corporate war. You're allowed to take off your gloves and tear into one another, but within the confines of respect for one another, isn't it? I believe you understand that. Now, the president of Kenya is on record as having, let me paraphrase the statement that he made. Of course, that is not going to be the major subject, but it is something that helps us get a background. That the youth are not trustworthy. And he made those remarks in his defense of the appointment of 92-year-old Uncle Moody to the Sports, Arts and Social Fund Board. And then, of course, there is also 72-year-old Ambassador Francis Mugaura. These are career civil servants, public servants, who have actually helped. Now, the flip side of that, the young people, there was an uproar, and I wish the UNSA council president was here. I remember they issued a statement that that this is like an insult to the young generation. Of course, there was that furor around that time. Now, the reason why we're asking this, my co-moderator, Mumbi, has mentioned the 3 R's. Representation. We have young people represented in the parliament, represented in the Senate through nominations, and there are various other political appointments that we have seen. There is the recognition, that psychological satisfaction that I am represented, that I am recognized. Someone can actually talk about me. When you have a population of more than 50% below the age of 35, then really, you have to really give them some kind of a slice in every decision-making table. And then lastly, of course, we're talking about remuneration. What are the salary scales for young people? We have this elephant in the room of experience. We saw in the news the other time South Africa scrapped off experience from the requirements. As a country, what trend do we want to set? And I'm glad my good friend Roy is here from the National Youth Council. we want to see what policies are we going to do, what are we going to be bringing up, coming up with to enshrine some of these discussions in line. Let me throw it back to Marion for our very first jump. Marion.
Thank you very much, Gilbert. So basically, we will do this by looking at the topic we have today, which is harnessing the youth voice for effective participation in governance, law, and policy making. So we have a very rich panel, and I invited two people to join us. Just before the others pick the microphone, I think we'd like to hear from Mr. Bluma, and then next we will have Miss Lydia.
Thank you very much, the organizers, my good friend Charles, and indeed the alumni, the Yali network. I want to bring greetings from my chairman, the Honorable Sakata, who was supposedly the one supposed to sit here, but due to some very unavoidable matters that arose this morning, he instructed that I should be able to come and respond on his behalf to any questions pertaining to the Kenya Young Parliamentarians Association. And I think I'll be assisting the Honorable Gideon Kitel, who's our organizing secretary. My name is Anthony Buluma, and I serve as the CEO of the Kenya Young Parliamentarians Association. I think our association with Yali goes way back from, I think, either the first or the second cohort, where we had a session with them and were able to, just inspire that particular cohort that was still getting trained. And I think we picked a lot from the conversation we had with them in the last parliament, and that translated into some of the work that we did in the last parliament that hopefully in the midst of the conversations I'll be able to share one or two things that we were able to do. But essentially, Young Parliamentarians is just a forum for members of parliament. I am not one, but I serve in the secretariat, and currently we have 48 members of parliament who are below 35. They are there serving the interest of the larger community, but they have opted, because they have certain things that they share in common with a lot of us young people, to sort of create this association as part of what this thing entails, harnessing the youth voice within Parliament. Honorable Keter is the nominated MP, in fact the only one representing youth in Parliament. So imagine if he was just to use his one voice to push the agenda of, the over 60% of us in Parliament. It will be very frustrating, and I'm sure he will share how it gets frustrating when you have to line up bills and you have to strategize to marshal numbers within Parliament to just push one item in terms of the youth agenda. Therefore, this association is that formidable platform that affords him that opportunity to rally his colleagues who share, among other things, age, and they're able to champion issues of young people as one voice. Because Parliament is a house of representation, and it entails democratic culture, which requires you to have some sort of numbers. And these numbers, we have to strategize as young people on how to organize ourselves so that we're able to raise relevant quorums whenever needed and push the youth agenda. So once again, thank you for this opportunity.
You're welcome. Thank you, Bluma.
You're free to clap, okay? Yeah.
Thank you. So now I am not speaking on behalf of the minister. Now I'm speaking on my own behalf as Lydia Mafia, so that you do not take what I say as a policy pronouncement. I'll speak from the space where I sit, which is government. I joined government in 2014. I have worked in the policy space for 5 years now. The greatest challenge that I see to young people's effective participation and the influence of the policies that we try to make is the disjointedness of their ideas and their network. Remember that government does not engage with individuals. Government only engages with groups of people, and not for their individual benefit, but in the common interest that they might have. And for us as young people, all of us, we have our own agenda. Kila mtu akuna yake, anaenda anatengeneza youth organization yake, anaanza agenda yake, we do not agree to convene and pursue one thing at a time. So it becomes very difficult. For example, you can imagine for a minister seated in an office. Today there is this delegation talking about this. There is that other delegation talking about that. Ultimately, they are always left frustrated, wondering, so who is who? And that is why, for government, it has become extremely important to support the National Youth Council, so that the youth voice can be coordinated, so that they can speak in one voice and say, so for us, prioritize these 3 things, or these 4 things for now. Then we deal with that, and then we move forward. So, if young people can find a way to speak in collaboration, then they'll be more effective. The other challenge is that we do not know how to organize. In the morning, there was someone who spoke about the fact that like there's no follow-up. We don't follow up on the things that we want, and then also we do a lot of these online things. I can't remember who it was. Sorry. Here's the thing. When I'm still a youth, but 10 years ago, I was much, much younger. I was what, maybe 20, 21. Oh shoot, now you know how old I am. It is we, at that time, our task was to push for the bill that had just then been passed of the National Youth Council to be operationalized, because at that time government was very jittery of youth movements and youth organizations. So we pushed, agitated, organized demonstrations. I'm not saying you go to the streets, but the National Youth Council exists today because the youth at that time, across Kenya, came together, organized, and said, for us this is a priority, first get that done. We want the council, we don't care. 2 million plus young people registered for the National Youth Council elections, and they got the council in place. What is the vision for this current generation? That is the biggest question. There is a referendum question hanging in the air. What do the young people want? Or are we just going to wait for everyone to determine the future we should exist in? The generation before us, the younger ones, the Ketombatis, the Cyprian Nyamwambus, those ones, they fought to push for things like the Youth Fund, for the existence of a Ministry of Youth Affairs, you know, and they did their part, and they accomplished a mission. And you recall from the CSS speech, quoting, can't remember now the name, that each generation must, out of relative obscurity, discover its mission and fulfill it or betray it. So you have a duty to determine what your mission is and then figure out a mechanism to do it. Those of us in government, we may have ideas, but I can't join you on that side. My work is to defend the president even when he says that we are not trustworthy. But for you on this side, you can do something, isn't it? But do it together. And it's very important to coordinate and collaborate and have one mission, one strategy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lydia. Can you pass the microphone to Honorable Gideon Keter? And there are a number of young people here who would like to hear your voice. After Gideon, I want to come to Caroline, and then Jennifer, and then I want to finish with Roy. Tell us a little bit about what you do, and these guys want to know. They want to know what you do, just what you do, and a little bit about. Forget about what we already know. That which we do not know with regard to the work that you do that touches on the young people. Just that. We want to know that, and then maybe the remaining 4 panelists will also tell us that. Then we go right into the questions for today. Yes.
Thank you. What's your name? Yes. I'm Marion. And first, my name is Gideon Keter. I'm the one representing you in Parliament. And I was happy with your introduction when you said, I don't see private sector here. And that's your challenge now. Next time, you also want to see the private sector being involved. Or many a times we go to events and we miss the private sector. is a very key stakeholder when it comes to helping the government streamline agendas and giving us a new eye, a new perspective on how we should actually meet with the emerging trends. When you look at me as a young person representing youth in Parliament, many of you wonder, how did I get there? And some of you must maybe have interacted with me in the past, but it is very simple. I'm a product of time and energy. Every minute, all of us, time is running away, rolling away every minute, and we are getting older and older. So in every minute I have been privileged to have in my life, I've been asking myself, with the forces around me, what am I going to do different to change the situation around my life and the society that I'm living in? So straight from nursery school, I was an active boy who frequently attend the Sunday school, very busy in the church, helping the pastor, getting to colleges and high school and university. You will always find me sitting down in forums like this, like you who sit here. I was just like you, curious, trying to find out where is the truth of so many questions that I normally have. Because when I was young, I used to ask my grandfather, why is it there's a noise that is coming from the sky when it's about to rain? Then my grandfather would tell me, there is someone in heaven, in the sky, and it is also time for him to go and collect clothes. And he's beating around drums in the sky, and in the process, we receive rain. So I was trying to ask, and who is that person? So in that curiosity, trying to find who is God, that curiosity, trying to find why am I existing? Why people die? Why is it there's a president? Why is it there are boundaries here? So those are the kind of questions that led me to where I am. And when I was in university, I joined one of the organizations called Models of United Nations. And all of you are aware. So I went to volunteer in the UN, and then also participated there, and I was able to serve in East Africa as the Secretary General. Then I learned the politics of UN, United Nations, and I couldn't still find answers or some more questions that I had. So I had to join a political party. Before I joined a political party, I and Buluma and some of our friends, student leaders at that time, we founded an organization called Youth Senate. Youth Senate is a leading youth organization in Kenya with more than 47,000 members, which has produced 12 MCAs, 1 senator, and 3 members of parliament, and it's not a political party. When it comes to policy making process, it has been helping the Kenyan parliamentarians in coordinating youth activities across the country. Then also after founding the Youth Senate, I couldn't still find an answer.